Armani Monté. I'm sure that's not the first time that's happened, but once again, Armani Monté, thank you so much for joining us today.
Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Hey, look, it's live, so no editing, no post edit, no pre edit. But I want to go ahead and dive straight in and talk and introduce you as an artist and tell us a little bit about how you got started in the music industry and what truly inspired you to pursue a career in music.
All right, so my foundation in music starts in church. Um, Literally, I went to church with my grandmother on Saturdays because she was a 7-day Adventist. Then I turned around and went to church on Sundays with my dad. So not necessarily being in the choir, but just being around the choir and hearing music just started my foundation. Um, but my love for music, not even on the creation side, but my love for it started with Michael Jackson. And then as I got older and I was in high school around the 11th grade, that's when I started making music for myself.
Absolutely. And being a music artist, can you talk a little bit about the biggest challenges that you have experienced and overcome, rather, being an independent music artist?
Yeah, the biggest hurdle is just the lack of resources, financial resources, I'll say that at times. And the thing of being talented, but not being recognized when you feel that you are due for the recognition. Like that's one of the things that bother me at times. Like I should be further along, but I believe in everything. Everything happens when it's supposed to happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. I completely agree. And then how has your over time, from when you first started up until now where we are today, how has your music evolved or changed at all?
Well, I grew up as a person, and my music evolved with that. Starting when I first started rapping, I was just rhyming words. It wasn't no reality in my music. And as I got older and started to deal with real life situations, that's when the music evolved and got way better. So once I started putting personal situations into my music and really got in depth and just learning more about life, experiencing different things, that's when my music got better.
Absolutely, and taking those real life experiences and putting them into your lyrics and your creative talents. What is the most rewarding part, or what has been the most rewarding part for you as an artist thus far? And then what sets you apart from, say, other music artists currently in Michigan?
Well, one thing that I'm sorry, what was the first half of the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I doubled with two questions
Yeah.
in one. So first, what is the most rewarding part of being? Oh, yes. What was the most rewarding part of you being an artist so far? What
So
has been the most rewarding?
the most rewarding part is going from the studio to the stage and getting the reception from the crowd and having people come up to you and tell you like, hey, like that song was so beautiful. I can relate to that. Like you don't understand. Like just hearing you this one time, like feel like my life changed. And things like that is like mind blowing. And it's almost like overwhelming at times for me. But after I sit with it and be like, this is why I do it. This is the main purpose for me making music is to impact people. So that's the most rewarding. And what was the second half of the question?
And then what sets you apart from other artists in Michigan or in Detroit?
My live show and excuse me, my live show and my business partner, who is my drummer, but he's also ahead of my production when it comes to my shows. Like he brings in the best of the best from the band all the way to the light show. Like that's for any artist that's like out that I will say like on my level, that's what set me apart. It's my live show. Like I can do a show with anybody from mainstream to whoever, and I'm gonna do my part, and people will remember my performance.
All right, so I want to know a little bit more. Let's talk a little bit about your music and the current projects and work that you have out here, as
Yeah.
well as how do you plan or how do you aim to change lives through your music and your projects that you release? What message do you want your listeners and even new followers and new streamers to take away from when they hear your music and your work?
So first things first, going all the way back to the first question, my music, the foundation of my music was church. So the foundation of my music is God, but I operate in a secular world. And the reason why I chose to go this route is because there are more unsaved people in the world than there are saved people. So I choose to, operate in a secular world. Um, and that's where my goal with my music is to impact in that way of just having people, even if it's not a person that feel like, hey, I want to get closer to God because of your music, but if they just want to go out and just do the right things in life, like that's what I want my music to do. And the last project that I put out was called It Wasn't Luck, and it's kind of straightforward. Like it wasn't luck, it was God, but that was my way of not saying it, but saying it at the same time. Like I don't put nothing to luck. Like nothing is because hey, I was just standing there and it fell in my lap, and that's just me. Like I work hard for anything that I have ever gained. I created the situations. Like I did Arts Beats and Eats earlier, and we've been putting in submissions since 2015, and knowing the background of like they really wasn't having hip hop artists, you know, and I understood that, but we kept submitting until we got in with someone, and they brought me in, and then like just the crowd just vibe with me so tough. Like, and they didn't even put me on the hip hop stage. They put me on the R&B stage so I can have my band there and really give an Armani Monté show. So, excuse me. Um, yeah.
Yes, yes, I have heard and I've seen all the posts and the videos from the Arts Beast and East show. It looks extremely like a really good time. I do have to ask you, and this question may be a little tricky, but is there one particular song, album, or artist that has changed your life personally, or just the way that you look at life overall as a whole?
So I'll say around 2007 to 2009, was freshly out of high school. I'm not gonna tell you the year I actually graduated, but I was out of high school around this time. Well, in college, and I wasn't working, so I was literally battling with depression, like just trying to figure out life. Like I'm new to adulthood at this point, and the album that I listened to religiously was Blue and Exile, Below the Heavens, and just a straight up hip hop artist from California, but he had relatable music to me, especially back then, and like just stuff that he was going through in his adolescence time that I could relate to. And me listening to that actually helped me in life, but also helped an artist because it got me to the point of saying of understanding on like me. I listen to music that I can relate to, and I think that's what most people do. Like they want to hear stuff that they can relate to and or motivate them, inspire them, or you do have the people that just want to dance, have a good time. But for me, like the music that move me is the music that I can relate to. So Blue and Exile, Below the Heavens, and then Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, had a huge impact on me sonically. That's where I fell in love with a different type of sound, a soulful sound. Also, music that um, people can debate about. Stuff that he was talking about: war, God, women, everything, all in one album. Like that, those are the two for me.
Good selections. I'm gonna have to check out your first answer to that question. I'm gonna have to check out that album. But definitely, even like nowadays, with especially the political climate and everything going on in the world, I feel like Marvin Gaye and that album, especially, is definitely relatable still to this day.
Yeah, to this day. Yep.
That's crazy. If you could collaborate with any artist or producer, past or present, who would you choose and why?
This question is so easy for me, and it's my answer is left field, but I've been having the same answer every time. So, one artist, if I had to pick one artist, the artist that I would work with, and I feel like he can produce some records for me too, is John Mayer. And that hit, he had the Continuum album. That's another album that I listened to that helped get me through some days, because the song Gravity, like I can listen to that today and just be tranced out. Like it just take me to a whole nother place. So definitely John Mayer, that's an artist and or producer that I will work with, and Adele. Yeah.
Most definitely, most definitely. I respect those two answers. So let's talk a little bit more about mental health and being an advocate for mental health. I know in just a little while we're going to talk a little bit about an upcoming event for those
Mhm.
that are in Detroit. What role has Detroit played in shaping or molding your music and your artistic identity?
And everything. It's just like literally from the time, really while I was in high school, I was catching the bus everywhere, like every single where. And I just seen so much. I seen so much just being outside. And but I was never the person that looked for anything. I just seen it, if that makes any sense. Like I never went to get involved with anything that I wasn't supposed to get involved with, but I just seen everything. I didn't involve myself with people that was doing the wrong things, but if I had people with me, we just seen things. Like we were just around the whole entire city, from the east side to the west side. I just moved around. I played basketball, and by me playing basketball, like in high school, middle school, and I played at all the parks. So I literally moved around, and yeah, Detroit is tough. Like when people talk about grit and grind and hustle and just that's us. And it shaped my music because it just showed me life, the good, the bad, the ugly, the blue skies, the gray skies. Like that is Detroit. And like I love the city so much because we got 4 seasons. And within those 4 seasons, like the lifestyle changes with the seasons. Like the city is different in the summertime, the spring, the fall, and the winter.
Absolutely. I've been talking a lot about the city of Detroit because I'm from Michigan, not
Mhm.
currently in the state, but just we've been talking a lot with like our guest co-hosts about the that Detroit hustles harder mentality.
Yeah.
We've been talking to different reality stars from Love and Marriage Detroit, and I think it's like it's one thing to the city grinds, but like to actually visit the city, to experience it or to even live in the city, it's a whole different level that not many people understand. Um,
Mhm.
for you, how do you stay creatively inspired, especially when like facing obstacles or challenges?
It's funny that you asked me that question because I'm in the musical creative. I'm gonna just say what it is. Like I'm in a music creative funk right now, but I'm in like a project high creatively. So it's like right now I'm in the place where music wise, I want people to hear the stuff that I've already had. Like I want to put that, you know, I want to catapult that music, but I also want to create platforms for myself and others, and I believe that's what I'm doing with what we'll talk about later. But yeah, all of the promo material that I make, like everything you see, I create. So like I'm in a different world creatively outside of music. I feel like I'm at a high musically. So I got to get back there. But I feel like it's going to come once I'm in a different mind state. Once I see different things move different, be in different places, it'll come right back to me.
Absolutely, just a temporary like shift in the universe and just things that
Yeah.
are currently going on in your life. I completely understand and get that. For
Because
those out there, oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, because it's a thing for me where I could not make one song for 3 months, and then the next month a spark hit, and I kick out 20 songs, 30 songs. Like it just happens like that. So I'm a believer, and I work when I'm supposed to. When God speaks to me, that's when I start working.
Absolutely. And what advice would you give to other artists or just people in general that may come across this interview that maybe struggling with mental health matters? I know there's this stigma, especially for men and underserved communities. How can we as a whole break that negative stigma or that negative connotation when it comes to mental health?
Well, first, especially if I'm just speaking to men have to understand like we matter. You know, there's times where you can be in a room full of people and feel like you by yourself, but you got to understand that you're not. And this is not just talking to artists. This is talking to people. Period. Like just love yourself first. And that'll take the weight off your shoulders right there. Like love you. And to the artists, we those that fight that grind and that going through the hard times, just keep working. Just keep working. Like I know that's cliche, but it's the truth. Like just keep working and do whatever it takes. Like do the right thing. That's what my dad always tell me. Do the right things, but at the same time, do whatever it takes to get you where you need to go. And I'm big on doing the right things. I don't just do anything. Like so, some people might think like, "Hey, Armani is stagnant. Armani not doing nothing." No, Armani just being strategic. And I feel like more people need to do that too, because I see artists that oversaturate themselves, and then by them oversaturating themselves, they might pack out one show, but then they do the next 10 and nobody show up because hey, I already seen you two, 3 times in this same area,
Right.
So it's just like artists just like value yourself. Like don't oversaturate yourself. Be strategic and but still do whatever it takes to catapult yourself to new heights.
Hey, dropping gems. We stay dropping gems on this platform. For you, aside from music, are there any other self-care practices or habits or routines that have helped you maintain that, creative and like personal balance, similar to like a work-life balance, if you will?
Yeah. I fell off. I'm a person of transparency, so I'm gonna be 1,000. Definitely fell off, but I run. Like I get out and run. Like that's one thing. But while I'm running, I got my headphones in. So it's like a 2 for 1. I'm getting my piece by running, seeing different sceneries. And I ride my bike too. So both, like just getting my cardio in, working out, meditation, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, and now I want to shift gears and, of course, talk about your upcoming events. How did this event come about? I know it's got you as well as the Detroit Youth Choir and a bunch of creatives that have come together to produce this amazing event and experience. So, can you tell us a little bit more about the events? And then we are also going to go ahead and put up the flyer as well.
Absolutely. Therapy sessions. Where did it begin? So I have to take you back to June of this year. I work for a company, Snipes USA, and we're based, our headquarters rather is in Philadelphia. So in June we had a store managers meeting, and at the store manager meeting I had to do a presentation, and through my presentation I performed my music and told my journey of my dream versus my job. And once I got back, well, the reception was crazy. Like they loved it. They loved it. They absolutely loved it. And once I got back home, I sat down and I'm like, yo, like that was I was actually at a high with that situation. It had me at a high. And I called my business partner, say, hey Ray, I think we need to do that again, but we need to do it our way. Because for me, that was therapeutic. By me being on the stage, performing my music, in between my music, I was telling my stories. I'm like, I need to do it outside of the work world. Like, I just need to do that. And time went by. I gave him the idea, but time went by. We didn't jump right on it. He went to a actual mental health event that was on Livernois, and he called me like, "Hey, bro, we got to do something." And then he seen actually one of the artists that's on this show, Asia Pearson, and we talking, and he's like, "Yo, let's just do the therapy. Let's do therapy sessions." Then we talked to her. Her actual EP is called Therapy, and she was getting ready to put together a show called Therapy Sessions. So everything was just working, and it just led us to where we at. October 26th, Therapy Sessions.
Absolutely. And then I know we just kind of split the screen up, input the flyer, so people can scan the RSVP code that is featured there to get more information and to register. And then tickets are free, right? As well.
Yeah, tickets are free. This the thing though. We're almost sold out. Like it might only be 8 to 10 tickets left total. So, jump on there now. Like get on there. Hopefully, by the time this air, I want to say I want it to be sold out, but hopefully somebody that's watching can get a ticket. But yeah, like we're working.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we're already manifesting that the event is going to be a major success. Do
Yeah,
you guys have there already been talks to like do a part two, or is this going to be possibly, is
absolutely,
there?
absolutely. Therapy sessions isn't just a one-off; it's a platform. So we're going to do mini concerts. We're going to turn it into a tour. Like we got major plans for it.
Absolutely. And then there are some other artists and talents that are also featured on the lineup as well, correct?
Yes. We have, like I said, Asia Pearson. We have Bryce the Third. We have Soulful Poetry, the Detroit Youth Choir, and then we're also featuring. Well, the show is hosted by Randi Rosario, who also has her own show called Let's Rant About It, and we're featuring Let's Rant About It on the show as well.
Absolutely. Yes, we are very familiar with our homegirl, Randi Rosario. So it's going to be an incredible experience. And then I love the fact that, you guys are already planning on, doing a tour or doing a couple different events. So like you said, it's mental health is so important to me as well. And, we talk about mental health and the different ways that mental health impacts us all and our communities all the time on the show. So, giving you guys is your recognition for putting on an amazing event, and for people that do want to attend the event, we're going to also put all the event details in the description of this interview as well. And what is like one key takeaway that you would like those that attend the event to leave the event with?
Like my business partner always says, if we affect 600 people, or we affect one person, long as someone can leave on October 26th saying like, "Hey, I got something else to live for." This day changed my life. Like when I came in here, I was feeling this way, but when I left, I feel totally different. Like that's our goal, honestly. And then for me, like music is a tool for me. Like literally, when I am going through things, I go to music. So as a creative and just as a listener, so I want to get the reception and see what people think on that as well. Just me musically and as a performer.
Absolutely. Armani Monté, thank you so much for joining us and giving
Thank you
us
for
just a
having me.
preview of the upcoming event and all of the amazing projects that you are working on. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and promote the event on our social media platforms. Tickets are still available. I'm going to go ahead and throw up the Eventbrite one more time. If you guys go to eventbrite.com and search therapy sessions, and Eventbrite alerts you. So it already told me it was like tickets almost sold out. So like
Yep.
you said, it's a free event, and I really hope that the event is successful and that people out there do take away something truly inspiring from the experience.
Yes, yes. Like I was asked if I was excited. I usually stay even keel, but the closer that it gets to the event, I'm getting more and more excited about it. So yeah, I can't wait.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much for joining us, Armani Monte, and we'll be back with more interviews right here on Size Take Today.